Day 15. I went outside today and I got completely sunburned. Thanks, nature. So yesterday I started talking about world building and how your peeps got from point A to point B. So today I'm going to talk about point A and point B. As in the world itself. Before your world can be populated by people, animals and plants, it has to have parameters underneath it. Rivers, mountains, that sort of thing. Of course that doesn't mean that you have to do that sort of thing first, but conceptually people are living somewhere. Sometimes it will be practical to draw maps. Maps in a fantasy novel usually include the major geographical locations of an island or like part of a continent, but they could include an entire world if you wanna. Cities may be marked, unexplored areas may be marked as unexplored, the here-be dragons may be ominously penciled in. There are kind of two approaches to this. First, your map is a true and accurate representation of the world that you've created exactly. But it takes only a quick Google search to find that in history, people rarely were very accurate with their maps. So second, your map could be a representation of what the people in your story see of the world around themselves. They may overemphasize things that are important or near. And then far, far away, everything's kind of like indistinct. Vast areas which are not worth drawing are just kind of not really detailed or shrunk down. So this is a map of a fantasy world which I drew about 7 years ago. It's actually quite interesting because I've forgotten what all these things actually mean. So it's like actually rediscovering an ancient map and wondering what's happening there. But your story may take place in only one place, so this could be like a town or a magic school, so the only things you really need to worry about are where the Forbidden Forest is, or where that little town with all the candy is. I've forgotten what they call it. And leave the rest of the world up to the imagination of your reader. Of course, when you're dealing with sci-fi, you have entire planets to map out. This is often done quite simplistically. Like in Star Wars, they have a desert planet, a snow planet, a swamp planet, forest moon, city planet, and there's nothing wrong with that. But planets may be a lot like ours as well. They don't need to be so distinct. They might have very different regions on them. Your planet may be flat, like Terry Pratchett's planet. I cannot recommend his novels enough, by the way. They need to be read. Imagine if the world was actually flat and went on forever, then the possibilities are endless and the expanse of your blank canvas just goes on forever. You can just create and create. Of course, you don't actually need to plan anything at all. Just make sure that if you're going to mention a place once and it's in a particular place, that next time you mention it you remember where it was. Because if you don't know where it is and it keeps moving, the reader's going to get confused as well. Yeah, I've done that before. I adore maps. I like looking at them and imagining what the places are like, which it represents. I like drawing them because I think stories can grow around maps just as maps grow around stories. I like that maps can give your imagination a sort of anchor from where you can branch off into mystical, magical, wonderful things. Do you draw maps? I'm thinking I'm going to do one soon for my story. It's kind of got to that point where if I don't draw it, I'm going to make some mistakes. And it's going to be a lot easier if I do it now than in revision, where I actually have to move entire cities or continents or something. More world building coming soon tomorrow.